Hello, citizens of Gotham. My name is Graham Elwood. You are watching The Political Vigilante. It is Friday, December 10th, 2021. We're going to bring Richard Medhurst on the show in a second to go through what happened with the Assange ruling today. But in the meantime, like, share, subscribe, put this out on your social media. That very much helps what we're doing to expand our audience. I'm going to just put this on Twitter again right now. Boom. And let's do this. That helps. And let me make sure we've got make sure everybody on the YouTube is getting it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. My subscribers is now below 77,000. We were at 78. We were climbing. And then they've throttled me. So now I should have 200,000 subscribers, the amount of content I put on. And those, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody. Those godless cocksuckers at Facebook and YouTube, whatever, they're all the fucking same. Those parasitic motherfuckers, those soulless bags of shit, are running ads on my videos on YouTube. Skip the ads. Don't give them a fucking penny. Having a big subscriber base on YouTube still helps the show because there's the bigger the audience, the better. But all the more reason to go to Rockfin and sign up. Richard Medhurst is also on Rockfin as well. So go there and, remember that the CIA YouTube is running everything. So I'm just going to put this out there. All right, there it is. The Horrific State of America by. All right, everybody, let me, and of course, you can do what Randall Froerlein did over at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood and tip the show, tip the live chat, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting what we're doing. I have I'm drinking a smoothie. It's really good. It's vegan. It's fantastic. I'm lucky I get to have these. So, all right, folks, let's, I'm sorry, I'm just starving. I worked out. I did yoga this morning. I do hot yoga. I've been doing that since May. It's a fantastic workout, but holy shit, does it kick your ass. Good Lord. All right. We got everything dialed in. Let's do it. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. We're going to discuss with Richard Medhurst about the Julian Assange ruling. Richard, how you doing today?
I'm great, Graham. How are you doing? Thanks for bringing me on.
Hey, no problem, man. I know you're probably in the middle of the night or wherever you're at right now, so I appreciate you accommodating us on such short notice. So let's just get right into it. As of, I think, Friday morning, London time, the courts gave the worst ruling for freedom of the press and justice. Basically, why don't you tell everybody, because I know you've been following this case very closely, what just happened, how it happened, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so this happened this morning, at 10:15 a.m. The whole thing lasted 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes. The High Court Justice, he's just reading out the ruling casually as if it's nothing. And basically, the High Court in London decided to extradite Assange. They basically said that the January decision, which blocked Assange's extradition to the US on health grounds, was, the judge made a mistake. They said that Yeah, they accept the health grounds. They accept that, Assange is suicidal and that he'll be even more suicidal if he's extradited to the U.S. and that the judge, she didn't make a mistake in how she evaluated whether the extradition would be oppressive, which is how she blocked it, right? Um, Under Section 91 of the Extradition Act, you have to say the extradition is oppressive to the person's psychological or physical well-being, which it is, and that's how she blocked it. But she agreed with all the political crap. So she agreed that, yeah, he's a hacker. He committed acts of espionage. That's why it's so problematic, because we're not talking about any of this anymore. It's only about his health. So the High Court agreed with all this. They threw out the U.S. appeal on health grounds, and they were also trying to smear the doctor, Professor Koppelman, who's like a leading neuropsychiatrist. They tried to smear him as being not being an impartial witness to the court and things like that. They threw all this out. However, they agreed on two grounds of appeal. The first one, they agreed with the U.S. prosecutors that the judge should have told them in advance about her provisional view so that they could have a chance to give these diplomatic assurances. And the second grounds of appeal, which they agreed on, is the diplomatic assurances themselves. So the U.S. has given assurances. They've said, fine, you think Assange is going to kill himself in the U.S. because the prison conditions are so bad. We won't put him in special administrative measures, in SAMs, which is, it's like you're completely isolated. They monitor all your communications, even with your lawyers. It's just the worst. So the U.S. is saying, we won't put him in SAMs. We won't send him to ADX Florence. ADX Florence is this federal super maximum prison in Colorado, where they put like the worst of the worst, Richard Reed, the shoe bomber, etc. So they said no SAMs, no ADX, and he can serve his sentence in his home country, Australia. The lead prosecutor, I remember watching him say this in October in court. He said Assange can look forward to going to jail in Australia, and therefore he's not suicidal anymore. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff they're saying. So the problem with what happened is that the High Court in England trusts these assurances from the U.S. government. And man, I mean, let me tell you, you cannot trust these assurances. Obviously, because the whole indictment is political. They're criminalizing journalism. They're going after Assange because he embarrassed the State Department. He embarrassed the CIA. I mean, this is just common sense that it's political. But there's proof. I published an article a few days ago with these classified documents from the U.S. Embassy in Madrid, the U.S. Department of Justice. They've given assurances before. Diplomatic assurances, right? The prosecutor told the High Court judges, these are special assurances. They're diplomatic ones, and they're not given out like Smarties. Okay, sure, I believe you. Well, here are some diplomatic assurances they gave to a guy named David Mendoza. Mendoza, he's a U.S. citizen and a Spanish citizen, and they wanted him for drug trafficking. They extradited him from Spain to the U.S. in 2009, and they told Spain, they agreed with Spain that he must serve his sentence in Spain. Right. So that's the law. You have to be in a prison close to your family. You can't destroy the whole family because someone in the family committed a crime. You have to jail them near the family. And, he's living in Spain at this point. He's married. He has children. And you can't give him a life sentence. That's another condition they put. And you can't try him for currency structuring because there's no life sentences in Spain. There's no currency structuring. And I just want to read you very briefly what the assurance said. This is from the U.S. Embassy in Madrid. This is a diplomatic note, just like the one that's sent for Assange. And it says that the Western District of Washington at Seattle indicated that it does not object to Mendoza making an application to serve his sentence in Spain. That's not the same thing as we'll send him back to Spain. The United States can't even block that application anyway. And with Assange, they've done the same thing. They didn't say we won't put him in SAMs and we won't put him in ADX. They said we won't put him in SAMs unless he does something that would meet the test for an imposition of SAMs, which could be anything. He could fart in the jail cell and be like, see, he's got to go to SAMs. I mean, the CIA gets to have a say in whether Assange is placed in SAMs. I mean, officially the decision comes from the Attorney General, but the CIA can have input. So, he could fart or cough and they'd be like, quick, put him in SAMs. And they could say, we never broke the assurance because we said that if he does something bad, he does a doo-doo, we can send him to SAMs. And this is how they game the system. So in the assurance itself, they're already giving themselves a back door. And the other thing where he can serve his sentence in Australia, it doesn't work like that. You need Australia and the US to both say,
Right.
They agree to this. You can't just have the USA, Assange can serve a sentence in Tanzania, and Tanzania says, yeah, we never agreed to this. Australia will say the same thing. Australia has been dead silent, and it's a Five Eyes country. I don't need to explain that one to you. They have thrown Assange to the wolves. So, with Mendoza's case, they screwed him really good. They kept him 7 years in the U.S. and he sued Spain in the Supreme Court twice. He sued Obama's Attorney General Eric Holder for breach of contract because Mendoza got lucky. He didn't just have diplomatic assurances. He signed this contract that actually specifically says he has to be sent back to Spain. He can't be given a life sentence. And they screwed him. They wouldn't give it to him. They said, this is a classified document. You can't have it. And he got it from a judge anonymously, and then he was able to sue the U.S. So he had to sue them in court. He's suing Spain. He's suing the U.S. And only then they sent him back. And, he told me that, if they did that to him, if the United States screwed him like that, and he's just, just for money laundering and drug trafficking, what are they going to do to Julian Assange? So, the fact that the judges, the high court judges accepted these assurances is a catastrophe. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's just, you can't trust these assurances. Even if you read them you take them at face value. It's in the wording. They have a back door. But this is evidence. This is evidence. The United States has broken diplomatic assurances before. And the lead prosecutor, he stood there in the high court and he told the judges, the United States have never broken a diplomatic assurance ever. He said that word for word. I heard him say it. And here's the proof that that's not true. And Assange's lawyers, they brought up Mendoza's case. They said, you guys screwed him. You broke the assurances to him. And Lewis, the lead prosecutor, he said, yeah, but in the end, Mendoza was allowed to go back to Spain. Yeah, after 7 years, after he sued the DOJ, after he sued Spain in the Supreme Court. So this is the game that's going on here, right? And the whole ruling today, the whole ruling from the high court is based on the assumption that you can trust assurances from the United States. Well, I'm sorry, I don't think you can.
Wow. I mean, we've known from day one, this has been the U.S.'s long game on this, is to get him into the U.S. where they can kill him, and I think they'll, he's going to hang himself with a paper t-shirt like Epstein did, or whatever whatever kind of nonsense they're going to pull. But it's just so appalling. The United States is so full of shit just on a daily level. They just had this democracy summit or whatever, where what's his name? I forget which one idiot that Biden appointed to be head of morons or whatever. What's his name? I can't keep track of all these parasites, but they talked about journalistic freedom. They literally had the audacity to give a speech today at this bullshit summit talking about journalistic freedom while extraditing, flat out lying, like you said. They just lied in open court saying, we've never broken our promise. So they just lied in open court, and they're trying to and of course, because the media is owned by the big corporations and the CIA, every time they have an intelligence analyst, on their shows, that's a CIA op. The Democrats ran a bunch of CIA people in the last primary. And so no one in the corporate media is like, this is an atrocious, this is awful. This is horrible for press freedoms. Everyone, a year or two ago, everyone was like wringing their hands and up in arms about Khashoggi because it was awful. But then it was like, oh yeah, then Julian Assange. I mean, there's so many people that when they speak out against America, we don't, they're either terrorists or, he was helping Russia or whatever nonsense they push out there. Because somehow it's Julian Assange's fault that Hillary Clinton didn't campaign in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And the exit polls showed that a lot of Americans hate the Clintons and hate the corporate media. So it's just really, it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, the way they boldface lie, it's just a form of insanity. I mean, it's literally, it's like I watch documentaries about, people smoking crack or whatever. Like, well, I don't have a problem. Like, dude, you weigh 80 pounds and you have a face tattoo and you're like, you're done. Like you're a crackhead. And America's like, no, we're not. It's just like, I have more respect for like the mob and like drug cartels than I do the United States government, because they're more honest. They're just like, yeah, we're here selling drugs. We're criminals. If you cross us, we'll kill you. Like it's pretty upfront when you know, like, oh, I grew up with some mob guys in Chicago. Like I was very like, okay, I got it. I knew some gangbanger. I knew what their code was. I didn't mess with it. They didn't lie to me. They were straight up. Like I got more respect for them than these guys in their three-piece suits talking about
Yeah.
this just with the American flag behind them. It's disgusting.
Yeah. It is. And I think it's messed up that European countries allow them to do this. Spain allowed the US to do this to Mendoza. The UK is allowing the US to do this to Assange. Like at the end of the day, I think Mendoza put it best when I was speaking to him. He said that, he doesn't even blame the US, even though they screwed him like that. They gave him a 14-year sentence. They kept him for 7 years almost in the US. They screwed up his whole family. He says he doesn't even blame the US at the end. He blames Spain because they allow the US to do that. He expects the US to do that, to play these games. And I get his point. I understand his point, because there's complicity here. And that's why they don't want this stuff coming out. They don't want people knowing about these cases and knowing, how they're gaming the system. Because you just said a few minutes ago that the whole game is to get Assange into U.S. jurisdiction. It's absolutely true. Once he's in the U.S., who's going to tell the U.S. what to do? Like I said, Mendoza, he got even luckier than Assange. He had an actual contract that was signed between him, Spain, and the U.S., and they violated it. So that was very explicit. Assange doesn't even have something explicit. And even if he did, they'd probably screw it up and violate the assurances. They're saying that they won't place him in SAMs, in special administrative measures. Yeah, but they have other things they can do. They can put him in a special housing unit or a communications management unit. They got all these fancy names to just put someone in solitary confinement, different flavors of solitary. So they could just build a brand new classification of imprisonment for Assange and then say, you see, we didn't violate the assurances. We only said we won't put him in SAMs, maybe. And so this is how they play the game. And yeah, it's like you said, the corporate media, I mean, they're garbage. You go watch. First of all, this is very funny because you have all these outlets reporting about Assange. I'm telling you, man, we're like 10 people in the court. So I know that these outlets that are not in the court, they're basically just ripping off of our reporting and spinning it the way they want to spin it, right? So they don't even say that, oh, it's an affront on press freedoms and so on. They almost paint it as a good thing. In the headlines, they say like, I saw some headline today, I think it was CNN maybe, they said that the high court cleared the last hurdle to extradite Assange, as if it's like some kind of challenge, finally, there are no more obstacles to get him to the US. It's really sick. And it's all because of this Russiagate bullshit. I mean, this is irrelevant. I can tell you one thing, though. If it wasn't with Hillary, they would have found some other thing to screw him with, the CIA files, whatever it is.
Well, so you were in the courtroom.
And remotely, at least. Yep.
Remotely, right? And I think, this is just my theory. My guess is why they have like 10 indie media journalists in some remote thing is then CNN, when it says cleared hurdles, everyone believes CNN. And when an indie journalist like you comes out, it's like, well, who's this guy? In his garage or his apartment talking to some other guy, like we're deemed as just nutbags by the corporate, or mainstream people or people that like, look, I trust CNN more than some guy in his apartment talking about vegan smoothies. I mean, let's be honest. So it's like, and that's part of it. So the indie journalists that are there really reporting can be marginalized and, look, we're throttled and shit. I mean, there's 245 people watching on a live stream, which is pretty good. I used to get 400 or 500 during my live streams. Now I get 200, 150. My views are down on everything. The only place I'm getting honest reporting is Rockfin because they're not owned, their blockchain and their cryptocurrency. So it's, and then they've throttle our message. So, you have to really search us out to find us. And our world, admittedly, I wish this wasn't the case. It's a small world. Our little indie media world is a small world. And most people that I talk to have never heard of TYT or Jimmy Dore or Jordan Sheridan. So there's certainly never heard of you or I. No offense. I mean, like they did, and that's by design. We're deliberately kept in this little corner, and we're viewed as some crazy YouTuber, and we're lumped like they view us just like the flat earthers and the wing nuts, like the lizard people, we're just thrown into that category, and that's by design, so that nobody listens to what's actually happening. And so then when the CNN can literally push State Department talking points with regards to that's digested. That's completely digested. So my question though, as we move forward, I mean, I hate to even use the term move forward because this is pretty awful. Like,
It is.
what's the next, like, what is there left to do? Is there anything? I mean, like, what do we do?
I mean, so Assange's lawyers, they released a statement right after the ruling, and they said that they're going to appeal this high court decision at the Supreme Court. So they're going to take it there. They have 14 days to make the application. I'm sure they will.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, all these documents from Mendoza's case, they haven't been presented in court. So I don't feel like there's been a fair, exhaustive look at these assurances. I think they've been accepted far too easily. You have to remember something. The U.S. only gave these assurances after the extradition was blocked. So I mean, depending on the jurisdiction, some judges might be inclined to call that fresh evidence. You lose the case and then you come up with something else. Because again, the extradition was blocked in January, and then February 5th, the U.S. sends a diplomatic note saying, well, don't worry, we won't place Assange in SAMS and we won't do this and this. And then they blame it on the judge. They say the judge should have told us that she's going to block it on health grounds. We could have given these assurances. Well, you didn't give the assurances before. What the United States spent during its time doing, I remember this lasted for a couple of days. They kept insisting that U.S. prisons are fine. People can, the inmates can talk to each other, by screaming through the plumbing, apparently. And they said there's an arts and crafts program, like in a federal supermax. They said that there's a point system, like you can basically downgrade, if you're in a really high security level, for example, in special administrative measures, that you can have the restrictions on you loosened bit by bit with some kind of good behavior program. The problem is no one's ever succeeded in doing that. MCC, where they killed Epstein, right? The warden of that jail, she testified at the Assange hearing. Her name's Maureen Baird. And she said that she had prisoners in pretrial SAMs, in these special administrative measures. And I mean, you're in isolation the entire day, 23 hours a day. You cannot talk to anyone. She said the only human interaction you have is with the guards when they come to inspect your cell or give you food through the slot in the door. So I remember hearing this testimony from her in the court. And, she said that it's a form of psychological torment being placed in SAMS. She knows because she's the warden of the jail. And she also said another thing. She said there's never been a suicide in 13 years at MCC until Jeffrey Epstein. She just slipped that in there. I'm just saying. I'm just reporting. Just reporting what was said at the court. That's it.
Yeah. Well, the Epstein trial, like literally Ghislaine Maxwell, there's no mugshot of her. There's no perp walk. She's getting in the court in a private entrance. That's a whole nother. Mm-hmm. Of course, no one's talking about that trial. I mean, we're going to talk about Rittenhouse. We're going to have cameras there, but we don't know anything about Epstein. And then we get this Assange, which was just, another kangaroo show trial. To me, and when you going back to all these countries, and like you said, Mendoza was more mad at Spain because America is doing what America does. And I feel the same way, like Australia, so if you're an Australian citizen, just so you know, your government does not have your back if it goes up against the United States. Again, if he was in a Chinese prison, the fucking whole world would be going, but no way, this is unbelievable. China, there'd be troops rolling up on the borders. I mean, like, give me a break. We'd have the fucking Fifth Fleet in the Sea of Japan, just like with every gun and just flying F-18s, like right up on the border going. It's true. There'd be a Navy SEAL team trying to get him out. I mean, it would just be like, they'd be making movies on Amazon.com starring Mark Wahlberg. Like, it would be fucking nuts, like what would be happening. But this is like, well, they cleared the last hurdle. Anyway, the new Taylor Swift album's out or whatever they're going to tell us about. So, but one of the things I wanted to bring up here, because WikiLeaks was one of the first like activist outlets to see the power in specifically Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency in general, because when PayPal shut them down, when they couldn't, this is before Julian got put in prison, when he was basically, even before he was in the Ecuadorian embassy, but they jumped on crypto because people could just pay them. They just had a crypto wallet and people could just pay them in crypto and it kept them going. And I know some activists that turned me on to crypto, Susie Dawson being one of them. And we know how the central banks, how the IMF pressured Ecuador. We said, well, there's a $500 million loan, but I don't know if you're going to get that if Julian's still in your embassy, right? So part of the pressure of these countries, these Five Eye countries, or even just Spain, or like you're talking about, these European countries that just bend over when the U.S. whips out its red, white, and blue dick. They just bend over and grab their ankles and like, here comes Uncle Sam, kids, it's coming. Part of it is the economic pressure that America wields around the world. And Satoshi, whoever that person is, realized how Bitcoin specifically, other altcoins, you can debate whatever their purpose, but specifically Bitcoin, if anyone out there reads the white paper on Bitcoin, one of its purposes is to take power away from the central bank so that countries like America, I mean, they sanction countries, which is an act of warfare. I mean, even in this stupid summit today where they're talking about press freedoms, they had the audacity of Juan Guaido was the one speaking on behalf of Venezuela. Like it's just like everything America does is a goddamn puppet show. Like, so to me, and you're on Rockfin, so I'm assuming you have I don't know what your level of interest or understanding of crypto is, but I'm sure you have some level of it just being on Rockfin. Is this the way out of this kind of just a complete hypocrisy and lies and abuse by the American empire and all of these countries that just have to take it because they don't want economic sanctions against them. They're afraid of America in so many ways. Is this our way forward out of this? I mean, I think it is, but I'd love to just know what your thoughts are on this just in general, because America's going to keep doing this as long as it has the money and the power and the military to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think those were some excellent points that you brought up, because it really is not just a military thing; it's an economic thing. This menace that America poses to other countries, this threat that it poses to other countries, with sanctions, whether it's Venezuela or Syria or so on. And one of the reasons, it's not the only reason, but one of the reasons they do this to these countries is because, for example, they don't have enough debt, with the IMF, or they're not completely linked into the international banking system, or they don't allow American corporations to come in and take over, or Western corporations and banks to take over their market. So it's really capitalism on an international level. And that's what it is. It's it really is like the mafia in a way. You don't give us a cut. You don't give us a portion of your resources, of your market. We're going to screw you with violence. And so one of those forms is definitely economic, because like you said, sanctions is an act of war. It's siege warfare. It kills people. It hurts people. And, I think I got to be honest, my technical understanding of crypto is not that good, but I definitely think that if anything that is helping to circumvent, the international, let's say the U.S. stronghold or strong arming of the international banking system is definitely the way to go. This is, for example, why recently when Iran and China, they made this 25-year partnership. They've integrated Iran into the Belt and Road Initiative. They said that, instead of having an exchange where Iran gives its oil to China in exchange for dollars, what they're doing is that Iran would give its oil in exchange for investment in infrastructure, basically building infrastructure, railway and things like that for Iran. And this is a good thing because it's not giving more power to the US dollar. It's allowing Iran to offload its oil because, Trump, he comes in, he rips up the nuclear deal, and then he puts sanctions on the oil sector. So Iran is nowhere to get this oil out, and it's losing a lot of revenue. And so this is one way to mitigate that. And I mean, just recently, it was a 10-year anniversary of Gaddafi's death. One of the reasons they screwed him, and again, this is from, you can see this in Hillary Clinton's emails, it's because he had gold, and he had, I think it was 144 tons of gold in the Libyan bank. And what did he want to do with this gold? He wanted to use it to create a common currency in Africa, a golden dinar. Why? Again, to get past the US dollar, right? Because he wanted African countries to control their resources and to control the currency in which they sell those resources, to really control everything. And look what they did to him. They pillaged Libya. They assassinated him. And it's not just the US, by the way. I should add that there are 14 countries in Africa who use this French currency, the CFA franc. It's really a colonial currency. They use it in West Africa, Central Africa. And it's right in the emails. Like, France was very aware of this, that if Gaddafi's plan worked, and there was interest from other African countries, the US dollar would be undermined, US monetary hegemony, and French monetary hegemony. So, I mean, they killed him. They fucking killed him over this. And they screwed up these plans. So anything, whether it's crypto, whether it's alternative currencies, they hate this and they're ready to kill for it. I mean, it just shows you how much of a threat they perceive this as.
Because they realize that's where the real power is. I mean, any country, any leader that went off the petrodollar, Saddam did, Gaddafi did. I mean, you go off the petrodollar. I mean, China has, and that's why we're like, China's so bad. It's like, we're literally in the same newscast. It's like, stop Asian hate, stop beating up old Asian women and blaming them for COVID. But China's the real enemy. Right. Like, it's really like they don't see the hypocrisy in those statements.
It's unbelievable.
And not excusing any authoritarian stuff that China has done. I'm not excusing that at all. But the America, we're not afraid of China's authoritarianism. We're not afraid they're going to come in and turn our country communist. We're afraid that they're going to have more money, financial power than we have. And of course, America's tactic throughout the world is just depose democratically elected leaders, sanction, bomb the shit out of people, and take what we want. Where China is doing this crazy concept of going to countries like Iran and going to Africa and saying, we'll give you a bunch of money. We'll pay for your infrastructure to open up. I mean, China has gone to all these countries and put money into ports and trains and because they're like, oh, here's a whole new market for all of our products because we have a cheap labor force, right? And they need oil for this. So they go off the petrodollar. They create the petro yuan. They create these pipelines with Russia and this deal you said with Iran. And it's like, because that's a threat. America we are the world's bully. America is the problem. America is the enemy. And Americans have been so sold this American exceptionalist propaganda, and we're sold the propaganda that we need to be fighting in this red state, blue state nonsense, when in fact we're in class warfare and Americans are deliberately being divided. We're being pushed down the road into a civil war. America's being pushed into a civil war because they'd rather have us fighting with each other than, they looked at the summer of the George Floyd protests and went, oh shit, and they don't want people uniting, so they have to keep dividing us, so they're going to do it. And the Rittenhouse verdict is a great way to keep America divided. This vaccine shit is a great way to keep people divided. Anything to keep Americans from going, the 1% is the problem. They control both parties. They control all major media outlets, not just CNN, Fox, all of them awful. Like we should have free healthcare, all this stuff, on and on and on. But America, and we have no freedom of press. We are not a representative democracy. We are a kleptocracy run by oligarchs, and we are a psycho death cult. That
basically an extension of the British Empire.
Basically, yeah, exactly. But the British Empire is actually not as insane as America. What the current status of America? I mean, the mass school shootings. That keeps happening. I mean, 100. We've had 700 mass shootings this year. 700. That's 100 gun deaths a day. That's on top of the mass shootings. America is like dealing with people who are drug addicts in a cult who just see everything and everyone's fighting over this dumb crap. And I don't know. That's why I'm just like,
I mean,
want to amass
just
as much crypto as I can and move to a country with free healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, just to circle back to Assange, I mean, this is precisely the problem, is that you have U.S. law being extraterritorialized. You have, like, I'm standing in a UK court. I'm at the Old Bailey in London, but this is not, this is not British law that's going on here.
Right.
Whatever that means. It's not like as if the United Kingdom is some example of perfect equality. But you get the idea. It's really like the Espionage Act, the 1917 espionage being implemented in the UK, and the judge, she even found equivalence. She went through the Official Secrets Act and found equivalence. And I mean, I don't want to know what kind of precedent that sets. And you can see Priti Patel. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's the Home Secretary. So I mean, the authoritarian crap that they're doing in the UK, it's absolutely unbelievable. They've passed a Nationality and Borders bill. They can basically strip you of your citizenship, and they don't have to tell you now. And they've passed. They're trying to pass this other thing, the police court sentencing and crime bill, where the cops can just come and shut down a protest on the spot. They don't even need a reason, except they can call you annoying, like a nuisance. That's actually in the wording of the bill. If you're being a public nuisance, they can just shut you down, even if you're a one-person protest. I mean, unbelievable things. And then, of course, they've proposed changes to the Official Secrets Act, where journalists could be given 14 years in prison for publishing classified documents that are, things that embarrass the government. So it's really, it's like they're taking cues from the United States, from the Espionage Act, and extraterritorializing the law. And it's not just the UK. It's really so telling that the United States quits all these international treaties. It's not a party to the International Criminal Court, to the Rome Statute. It doesn't want to be in any kind of thing that can possibly hold it accountable. The only international accords the U.S. keeps are extradition treaties, because it wants to keep its law as the law of the land, even outside its own land. So I think that's very telling. I know, yeah, that's basically what I wanted, the point I wanted to make.
Yep, it's true. It's America, like, literally is forcing its law around the world and really doing whatever it wants, whenever it wants. And then it's selective outrage. Oh, what happened to Khashoggi was an outrage, but Assange, hey, that's justice. Like, it's just,
the crap you hear about that is unbelievable. Like, oh, he's a traitor. He's not even American. Who's he a traitor to? The CIA? Yes. Like, what does it mean?
It's just like, God forbid the United States military is held accountable. It's just, it's just an example. Like, and the domestic level, the police departments are not held accountable, and there's no civilian oversight of the police departments. It's like internal affairs. You have cops investigating cops. Oh, okay, cool. Right. Let's have drug dealers investigate drug dealers, and see how that works. So it's
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And it's the same thing, what you just said with the cops investigating cops. It's the same thing with the military, right? They investigate themselves and they find, oh, there's no evidence of war crimes, and that's it. And when you, because you got to remember something, this collateral murder tape with Assange, where you have this gunship in Baghdad killing Reuters journalists, killing Iraqis in 2007. They actually lied to the Reuters bureau chief in Baghdad. They only showed him the first 2 minutes, and they didn't show him the rest of the video, where you hear them laughing in the helicopter and shooting at other people. And they said nothing happened that day. So this again shows why you can't trust police to investigate themselves, or the army to investigate themselves. You need journalism like this.
Yeah, you absolutely do. Well, Richard, I know it's late there, or early morning, wherever you're at. I really appreciate you taking the time, and thank you for being in the court and covering this and getting the word out to people. So before we let you go, any parting thoughts for everybody in terms of any sort of actions or anything people can do, especially here in America, what we can do as Americans to try to, I don't know what, but what can we do?
I think I think the number one thing is always to raise awareness, embarrass them, because the thing is with this case, they try as much as possible to stop us from reporting about it. They don't want to put it in the press. And I think especially with these assurances, cases like Mendoza's, it really, really exposes how untrustworthy they are. And the whole point, the whole Assange case right now is hinging on these U.S. assurances. So, that's why I think Mendoza's case is more important than ever now, because he got very similar assurances, and it shows that they're completely they can't be trusted. The U.S. will violate them. If there's any direct action for Assange, protests, definitely take part in those. I always see people in the UK at the High Court. The activists there, they're brilliant, really brilliant people. They come over from all over Europe, from all over the world, just to be there. They're great people. When we couldn't, they wouldn't let journalists into the court. We had to get through the public gallery, and the activists would come up 6 a.m. and wait and give me a spot so I could actually go in and cover the case. So they're really good people. That's kind of brilliant direct action that the activists do. So I don't know how it is in the U.S., but I'm sure I'm sure there's lots of local direct actions for Assange. So I would definitely encourage people getting involved in that. And I mean, it's a travesty what happened today. It really is, and I don't expect it to end anytime soon. It's such a travesty. I just they read it out casually in 10 minutes like it was nothing. I'm just speechless.
Well, all right. Thank you for that. Yeah. I mean, folks, if you're watching, I'm going to call my congressman and say free Assange. I'm going to inundate them, call their phones. I mean,
I called the DOJ on Katie Halper's show or something. So, I mean, I don't know if they listened to it, but maybe they'll listen to the reporting. I don't know.
Yeah. Share this out. Call your local, call your state, your senators and your congresspeople and say Assange needs to be free. Call them out on social media, call their numbers, and just say this is atrocious. Yes. And and if they kill him in prison, then there's more of them we need to take over. Like we need to do what if January 6th was actually to free Assange, I would have been behind it. So
real prison break.
I'll just say that. Yeah. So all right, man. Well, Richard, thank you so much for being on the show. I know it's been a while. We'll have you back on soon, dude. It's always great to see you, and I appreciate the reporting you're doing over there.
Thank you so much, Graham. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, brother. Have a good day.
Take care, brother. Bye-bye.
Later. Richard Medhurst, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, he's out there doing real reporting. So yeah. Here are the representative phone numbers to call, and the website where you can get your direct number for your representative for the Senate, the House of Representatives in the Senate. That's on the screen right now. So call them right now. Let's see if we got, call them right now. We've got a new subscriber, Rosso Cariola, subscribe to my Rockfin channel. Thank you so much. Norley Prusian, thank you. Subscribe to Rockfin, $10 a month. You support my show. You support Richard Medhurst show for $10 a month on Rockfin Premium. You get everybody's premium content for one price, $10. It's not like Patreon where you got to support everybody individually. $10. You get Richard Medhurst. You get Ron Placone. You get Status Quo, you get Jimmy Dore, you get everybody. You get the whole anything you want. Whitney Webb, you get a lot of great stuff, and it's blockchain and they don't censor us. It's cryptocurrency. So go over to Rockfin and support them. All right, let me find. I'm going to call Ted Lieu live. Let's call Teddy. Let's call up my boy Teddy Lieu. I'm going to get this number. Ted L-I-U-E. Ted Lieu. Representative Ted Lieu, California's 33rd district. Where is his number? Contact Ted Lieu. Let's call Ted Lieu.
Hi, this is Congressman Ted Lieu. Thank you for calling my Washington, D.C. office. It is an honor to serve you in Congress. My Washington office hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30 Eastern Time. If you would like to leave a brief message, please provide your name, number, and your mailing address in the district, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Also, please make sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Rep. Ted Lieu. Have a great day.
Record your message after the tone. When you've finished, you can hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Ted Lieu. My name is Graham Elwood. I live in your district. My address is 171 Pier Avenue, number 464, Santa Monica, California, 90405. And I think it is atrocious that Julian Assange is being extradited for just being a journalist. If America represents press freedom, he should be free. So it's not just press freedom until somebody calls out the war crimes of the United States military. I've been to Iraq and Afghanistan and Kuwait as a stand-up comedian, and you're a vet. This offends me. Assange should be free. Do your job. I'm going to try to vote you out. Suck ass. Yep. All right, let's go over to rockfin.com, ladies and gentlemen. Rosso Cariola, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting us, everybody. Thank you for supporting us at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Blockchain, cryptocurrency. They do not censor us. MHC, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting us at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. As Richard Medhurst sometimes says on his own show, Uncle Joe's Rainbow Coalition Death Cult. Shit, that's funny. Man, smoothies are great. All right. MHC, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. January 6, 2022. Free Assange and end climate collapse. I'm down with that. Ross O'Carriel, I'm Australian. Assange could never come back here. He would instantly be deported to the United States or locked up. I know. That's horrible. Oh, I wouldn't give out my address. Baller move. Mad ass, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, Matt. Thank you for supporting us at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Love the passion you have for stories people don't discuss on traditional media for more than a week. Thank you, man. Thank you for supporting what I do. Yep. Make the American empire accountable for war crimes. Free Assange. You got that right. As an Aussie, I'm behind Julian. I know, man. It is insane. It is insane what is happening. It just fucking drives me nuts. 287 likes on the YouTube. Get that up to, let's get that up to 300. We've got 29 people watching on rockfin.com. Hit the like button, whatever platform you're watching. All those analytics help. Aussie government cannot sort out vaccinating us. Julian Assange is unlucky. He is an Aussie. That's why he is still locked up. Yep. I know. We need to amass on Washington, D.C. I know. Yep. We need to do that. Yeah, Julian is an actual real life hero. Jesus. That's what you get for telling the truth. That's what you get for telling the truth in this world. The only path forward is to opt out. You have to stop willingly choosing to be a slave to capitalists. Yeah. Yep. That's why I'm so big on crypto, specifically Bitcoin, because it gets us out of the central banks. I paid off my credit card debt a little over a year ago. Paid it off. I don't want your debt. Boom. Eat it. Because if we're all empowered, we're out of their rat race. If we all have our own crypto, we're out of their rat race. We don't have to play their game anymore. We just don't. I don't buy Christmas presents for people anymore. I donate to charities during Christmas. I mean, like maybe a box of chocolates or some little fun thing. I'll send some people some fun food, but like a gift, a thing. I mean, I like giving, I'll support, I like try to support small businesses and shit like that, but I'd rather give money to charity and shit like that. Melissa H, shave your knuckles for justice, Melissa. Obama didn't want to extradite Assange, but he could have exonerated him and he didn't. Of course, that's typical Obama. Well, he didn't do the full bad thing, but he could have actually done the good thing. Nope. Same thing with the healthcare, with climate. Obama could have been like, I'm in charge with the Democrats of the House and the Senate. We're getting all these shit, but he just did the half measure and then said, oh, we're better than the Republicans. That's the Democrats' whole platform. It's their whole platform. It's like unreal. Julian Assange would have been free for years. So much of Obama's time was what he failed to do, not what he did. I know. It's so true. Kinky, thanks for your strong activism, Graham. Thank you, Kinky. Shave your knuckles for justice. Appreciate you supporting our show. Christopher Folk, I left Wells Fargo, went to credit union. I encourage everyone to do the same. Yep. Go to a credit union. Get out of the big banks. Don't give them your money anymore. It's really awful. Get out of there. I got 2 different credit unions I'm with. The SAG-AFTRA credit union, because I'm in that union, and there's if you got to get a credit union, give them your money, give a credit union your money, because they're not going to invest it in pipelines and war and bullshit. It's so great. It is so great. They're great. Come on, Graham. You got to do better than that. You can't do a Tony the Tiger thing. Fully retired at 39. Love it. I'm listening, but off to make dinner. We'll make a good dinner. Yep. Get Lou on the phone. I'm in Eclipse. They have about 3 branches. Unfortunately, I wish you were right, Miss Blue Ryan, about your instinct. The Maxwell trial is going to bring down the walls of hell. I wish, but I think it's a show trial. She's going to get a little slap on the wrist, and then they're going to say, okay, all these documents are sealed. We can't look at these victims can't testify anymore. Trial's over. It's done. That's what it's going to happen. I hope you're right, but join your local credit union. I left B of A back in 82 for credit union and never looked back. Right on. What a position we are in when we must rely on a coalition between Russia and China to save the world. I know. Both Russia and China are in Nicaragua right now. They just got real with China building a new Panama Canal and Russia building an airport. Things are about to get funky. Yep. Hopefully the Central America will just do what El Salvador did and everybody will go Bitcoin. And then it's just like, suck it, central banks. Nothing you can do. Kinky, please remind everyone to boycott Kellogg. Thanks. Oh, Kinky, shave your knuckles for justice. You're making Gotham great again. Thank you so much. Don't forget, guys, don't buy any Kellogg products. Don't buy any Kellogg product. When you're going to the store and your cereal, whatever, just make sure, look, even if it's says something else, look closely, make sure it's not made by Kellogg. So we're supporting that labor strike. So do not buy Kellogg products. And if you did by mistake, no worries, give it to a homeless person and then buy something else. Buy the off-brand products. Maybe there's a local cereal company by you or something like that. Better to get out of the big corporate food places anyway right now. until they give their workers a better deal, we're not buying Kellogg. Thank you for reminding us of that, Kinky. Very much appreciate it. Matt, shave them. I also love your message about not buying more shit. As I get older, I'm all about experiences over consumer products. This coming from a dirty capitalist. Well, yeah, man, we're raised to just, I mean, that's the thing about Christmas is just, it's buy and all this. I used to have so much stress about buying gifts. I'm just like, nope. I mean, when my nieces and nephews were little kids, I bought them toys because they're little kids and I wanted to be the fun uncle, but they're kids. Now they're grown up. Like, I'll send each household just like, here's like fun, whatever, fun flavored pancake mix or just chocolate covered macadamia nuts. Just there you go. Some treats, have a treat, ding dong. There you go. I don't need to buy a bunch of bullshit, man. I'd rather donate to a charity or give money to somebody who needs it, or just like, for my nieces and nephews' birthdays, I usually just give them gift cards because they're like all high school, college age kids. And like, there you go. You just did $25, $50, go to Target, buy some stuff you need. But I'm not getting gifts and for what? And when people send me some stuff, I'm just like, it's always like, do I need this? Do I need another thing? Do I need stuff? Do I need any, like last summer I went through, it was one of the most cathartic things I've ever done. I was in the same apartment for 9 years and I was like, I'm leaving and I'm going to just travel and I can do this show anywhere. And I sold everything and moved and I got my life down to 4 suitcases. That's why I only wear like 4. I got 4 shirts. I wear the same 4 shirts all. I got these 2 couple collared ones, a couple nice shorts. That's it. I got a pair of shoes that I wear on stage. I got a pair of shoes I work out with, and I got a pair of flip-flops that I take to the beach. That's it. Bing, bang, boom. Again, I got like 3 pairs of jeans. 2 are kind of nice ones I wear on stage. One's regular. I had all these clothes, didn't need all this stuff. I got rid of it. Some stuff I sold, on like OfferUp or, eBay or Craigslist or whatever. Some stuff I gave away to friends or sold them for a really discount rate just to help them out, make a little bit. They're getting a great deal. And then, it's like a form of recycling. And then I gave stuff away, donated it to Goodwill, Salvation Army, some shit. I just like shoes and clothes. I just gave to homeless people on the streets. Because I was like, I don't need all these fancy shoes. Come on. What am I going to do? I buy my clothes at Ross. And I have a 1 in, 1 out policy with stuff. If I buy a new shirt or new pair of shoes, the old shoes go out. They get donated. And if it's shoes, I always just give them. I just find a homeless person that's walking around without shoes. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them. And I just go, here's a pair of shoes. And I always give them socks. There's shoes and socks. It's just stuff. Do you remember that shirt or that watch? Or do you remember that? No, you don't remember that stuff. You remember the trip you took, right? I can't tell you about gifts I got. Trinkets I can't really remember stuff like that. But you know what I remember? I remember having dumplings on the Great Wall of China. The first time I went to China, I did shows. It was August of 2014. And I did a tour of shows. And I went through Tokyo because my plane went through Tokyo. So I spent a couple days in Tokyo. And a friend of mine took me surfing in Kamakura. And then we had this great meal with her friends. We just surfed in Kamakura. I went surfing with all the Japanese people in Kamakura. I remember that. I remember then when I did shows in Beijing, and I was in Beijing for like 4 nights or something like that. I had like 1 or 2 shows. So I had a bunch of days off. And we rode our bikes. Me and this other comic got me a bike. And, in Beijing, the bike lanes are as wide as a car lane. And rode our bikes around Beijing. I'm just nuts. There's just bikes everywhere. It's this massive city. I was like, this is insane. I remember that. I don't remember some, what, like a fancy TV or something. I don't remember like stuff. And I went through an apartment full of stuff that I was like, I found all this shit. I was like, I didn't need, why did I buy this? I didn't need this. Like I remember that. And then again, one day we drove, they took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Beijing or something. And we went to the Great Wall of China. You hiked it. We climbed all along, and we bought these dumplings in the morning and kept them in our. We're just like walking on the Great Wall of China, like standing on this piece of history, and you're just thinking about all the soldiers and war, and just crazy. It's like 1,000 years old or whatever. And we're just eating dumplings with these two comics. One was from America, one was from the UK, but he's half Burmese, half British. And we're just having these amazing conversations. I remember that. I remember, Ron Placone and I, we were just talking about it when I saw him. We did our tour of Australia 2 years ago, and how fun we had. And we were talking about when we went to Perth, and we had about 2-3 days off in Perth, and we just hung out on the beach and went and got food. We're just like sitting on the beach talking. And when I saw her, I was like, God, remember how awesome that was? And it wasn't like, oh my God, I got this pair of shoes in Sydney. Oh, that I'll never. I bought this suit in Hong Kong. I don't have stuff. I remember the experiences of sitting on the beach in Perth, and we were like looking out at the Indian Ocean. And as Americans, we're like, we're at the end of the earth. Like Western Australia is the end. And that, I remember that. I remember, hanging out with Caitlin Johnstone the first night we got to Melbourne, and how cool that was. And there's a photo of me, Ron, and Caitlin in front of a Julian Assange of street art. That's what I remember. That's what's important in life, that traveling, those experiences, like stuff, like a Rolex, like I'm going to have a Rolex or some expensive car instead of that. No way. No way. I mean, you want to wear nice clothes. I get it. You feel good about yourself. But like, again, Ross, like there's no difference. You take a shirt like this and put a fancy designer name on it and it triples the cost. Who cares? Who cares? I could talk travel stories all day. I mean, I talked about that when me and my buddy went on a surf trip to Costa Rica. And I drink coconut water, and he doesn't like it. And this one beach break they took, because we did like a kind of a surf school, and they had a beginning and advanced. We did intermediate. Advanced was like surfing 20-foot waves. We're like, no way. But intermediate was like, we already knew how to do the basics of surfing. They were just making us better. So they would take us to some kind of challenging breaks. It was really awesome. We had a great teacher. And we get out of the water this one break, and there's just this woman. There's a coconut tree. Like her son just climbs up there, pulls down the coconuts, cuts the thing off, puts a straw, boom, paid her a couple bucks. And my buddy, who's never liked coconut water, I was like, try this. And he was like, that's amazing. I go, yeah, because it came from that tree. That's what I remember. That's what I remember about Costa Rica. The waves, the people, the food was nice. Everyone was friendly. Like, that's what I remember, those experiences. We did a boat trip. Because a lot of times we would drive to different surf breaks, but one day we're like, we're going to take a boat to this break, the surf break. And we all meet outside the little like resort areas, this little cool little hotel, surf hotel thing. And I'm like, so we driving to the marina? And he goes, no, the boat's out there. So we paddled out on our surfboards to the boat, put our boards in the boat. We took like a 30-40 minute boat ride. We drop anchor. Boom. The guy just goes, is this your surfboard? Throws it overboard. You jump in, you get in. It was like, and I remember we surfed for like 2.5 hours, and we got out of the, then when you're done surfing, you got to paddle back to the boat, and we're in the boat, and we're just, it's hot, it's really hot in Costa Rica. And the guy had a cooler, and he's like giving us cold bottles of water. And it was like a 20-ounce bottle of water. And I just drank it. Like, I didn't even know, I was so dehydrated. I just like drank it. I was like, those experiences, how cool it was. The sunsets, going out after shows in Hong Kong. Like, I remember that. Like, seeing music after a show in Nashville, like just fun. Just that's what I remember. That's what life is about to me, not $1,000 silk suit or whatever. What the fuck? Anyway, What's wrong with Kellogg? They the workers at Kellogg are on strike, and management is treating them like assholes. So we're not going to support. We're going to when workers go on strike, you don't buy that product until the workers get what they want. MHC, shave your knuckles for justice. Maybe coalition China, Russia, and South America will end up buying and modernizing our infrastructure, and it might even be an improvement. Yeah, it would be. Yeah. So Kinky is clarifying the Kellogg strike. It's a strike, and they're going to hire all new low-wage workers to break the strike. Oh, shit. I didn't even know they were doing that. It was getting that bad. Ugh. All the more reason to not buy Kellogg's. Don't buy Kellogg. Yeah. Don't cross a picket line if you can do it. I understand some people are in food deserts. I know. Hello, S-Coin. I buy my mom stuff she needs, like a new garbage disposal, books, soup, my friend made. Yeah, stuff like that's cool. Like that's what rather than buy someone like a gift, I'd be like, well, do you need like, my toaster oven's broken, so I don't know what to do. I'll get you a new toaster oven. Like I'll buy you a new toaster oven. Consider making a gift to loved ones. Melissa, shave your knuckles for justice. Greedy CEO and others at Kellogg just can't fathom why the union would turn down a contract that gave the current workers much of what they want, but screws over any incoming employees. Yeah, of course. They just can't understand people standing up for each other and not just taking it all for themselves. I know. Why not? Well, because we want to protect new workers that come in, because we were all new workers. I know. They're just so, their greed. They just can't. Yeah. We can fix ourselves, help our family and neighbors, and build solidarity in local communities, share awareness of global issues, even though as an individual, we won't affect the greater system for positive change. We can when we join mass movements for change against the unipart predatory class. That's a good point, S-Coin. It's a good point. Kate, our lovely moderator. Kate, shave your knuckles for justice. FYI, Kellogg to permanently reduce 1,400 striking factory workers. Holy shit. What? All right. All right, Kate, Graham will be right back. We're going to do a full segment on this because I want this video out everywhere. I want everybody to know to fucking block these Kellogg shitbirds. So guys, I'm going to be right back. Give me about 5-10 minutes. I'm going to put this segment together and we're going to do this Kellogg thing. Ba-boom, kitty cats. What is up? We are back, citizens. Oh, Gotham. Delicious. Free Assange now. You got that right. Matt asks, shave your knuckles for justice. Thank you for supporting us at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. I realized the things I bought over the years primarily was to placate me and justify why I can't take time off and work and travel. Yeah. Save up money and go work, man. It's another reason like finance. Imagine if you invest enough in crypto or whatever, and you have passive income and you can just travel. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing? There's a line in Fight Club that says, and this line's been said numerous times, but I remember it from Fight Club. It says, we get to a point where the stuff we own end up owning us. Like I keep buying this stuff and I have to work this job I don't like to pay for everything. And I can't be, I want to travel it's always someday. Go do it, man. Go do it. Rando Fräulein, shaving knuckles for justice, real journalism in action. You got it. Here comes this segment, kids. Hot, fresh segment. Thank you, everybody, for bringing up the Kellogg thing and then Kate getting the article and bing, bang, boom. Here we are. A segment is born. A segment is born by baby Jesus. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching, boom, the political vigilante rising up some truth, folks. Below Wayne Manor, on the outskirts of Gotham, comes the truth. Well, the Kellogg workers have been on strike. And what is the company doing? What is Kellogg doing? Oh, it's going to put scab workers, Kellogg to permanently replace 1,400 striking factory workers. The move ends a labor feud between employees in the cereal brand that has lasted about 2 months. Before we go any further, boycott Kellogg. Boycott Kellogg. Don't buy any Kellogg products. Put this on your social media. Do not buy their products at all. Don't buy any Kellogg products at all. Don't do it. Stand with the Kellogg workers. So a management's going to say, oh, we offered them and the union didn't want it. We're going to get into the specifics of the deal they offered wasn't great, of course. And it's really bad for new workers. So workers have been striking for a variety of reasons, including issues surrounding compensation, benefits, and cost of living, according to the union's website. One of the specific obstacles in the negotiation has been the company's wage system, that gives newer workers lower pay and fewer benefits. About 30% of the cereal plant workforce receives these lower wages. So I'm sure the CEOs are like, why are they turning? This is a great deal. No, because people who've been there a long time are like, well, I'm not going to screw over newer workers because they were newer workers too. Why can't everybody get a good salary? Why can't everyone? Why is this so hard to do? Multi-billion dollar Kellogg company. The Kellogg workers on strike were represented by the Bakery, Confectionery, Tobacco Workers, and Grain Millers International Union, BCTGM Union. Well, I mean, these unions, I don't know, they're always trying to get more money and more wages, and these hardworking CEOs that are barely getting by. Oh, whoops, wait a minute. Stephen Collien, his 2021, his total compensation will be over $11 million. I'm gonna break this down here. I know this is a big chart because he's got salary, bonus, value of stock, value of option awards, non-equity incentive plan, change in pension value, and all others. Just got other compensation. Let's break that down. Non-equity his salary is $1.3 million a year. That's a pretty good salary. Has he ever worked in a factory? I doubt it. Non-equity incentive plan compensation, $3.3 million. And then another $384,000 in other compensation. This is non-equity. This is like stocks and all that. Total $11,663,000. Boy, that seems fair. So the people doing all of the work. This is why when people go, oh, socialism is Stalin's got no. Socialism just means workers own the means of production. So this can't happen. So that a CEO can't make 279 times the median employee's pay for the fiscal year. Kellogg discloses this. I got this from the AFL-CIO website. This is what's wrong in America specifically. When people are like, capitalism is out of control, it's this crap. You're the CEO, you should make 3, maybe 4 times, maybe up to 10 times the median employee's compensation. 10, it almost seems like a lot. 279 times. And now you won't give these people what they're asking for, and you're going to replace them. You're going to replace them. So this asshole gets $11 million, almost 12, and 1,400 people have now lost their jobs because they just want a fair wage. What if we just took this asshole's, just his non-equity flim flam, whatever, these $3.3 million, and then his 384. So this is like $3.7 million. What if he just took his 3.7 million? Now I know only living on 1.3 million. I know that's tough. He's going to probably have to get food stamps and start taking the bus. 1.3 million. I don't know how you live on that. I get it. It's hard. I mean, polo horses don't pay for themselves, you guys. I mean, come on. Like this isn't even enough money to own a real yacht. I mean, he's probably just got like a power boat that's like 30 feet, like not a yacht, like just a boat, like maybe a summer home. Like, ugh, what an animal. So we'd really be forcing him to only live on $1.3 million, which at that point, he's probably going to have to drink his own urine. I mean, I don't know how he's going to survive on that. 279 times the median salary. That's not even going into what Kellogg's total profits are. This is just this one asshole. Kellogg's is a global multi-billion-dollar company. I've been in grocery stores in China, in Brazil, in Australia, in Europe, in the Middle East, and I've seen Kellogg products. This is unbelievable. And nobody cares. And it's like corporate media barely talks about it. Do you wonder what Joe Biden's going to say about it? Well, first of all, let's go to opensecrets.org. Hey, they gave, $242,000 in contributions. Lobbying, they spent $640,000 in 2019, $690,000 in 2020. Biden troubled by Kellogg plan to replace striking workers. And Biden said, we're not going to let, this is bad for but that's all Biden talk. Just like Biden said remember I showed you that video where Biden in a debate with Bernie said, we're no more permits to drill on public lands. And I just did a video showing that Biden has given more permits for drilling than Trump has. So we can't trust Biden. No, this is tough talk, Democratic Party. Blah, 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 blah. But let's break down again. This is the total amount of money, right? Joe Biden got the most. Gary Peters, candidate, Democrat. Fred Upton, Republican. Don Norcross, Democrat. Lloyd Smucker, what a stupid name. 10 grand. Look at this. 10. Look at this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Republicans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Democrats. Jojo got the big end because they thought he's probably going to be president. Don't buy Kellogg products. Put it on your social media, boycott all Kellogg and read labels, because you might be buying a granola bar or something, or like they got, juice product, like whatever. Check the label. And if you look at the label, manufactured by Kellogg Co. Inc. or whatever, don't buy it. Buy their competitor's brand, buy a local brand, just don't buy their product. Don't buy it. Buy something else and I'm not supporting Kellogg. And go to your local store, your grocery store manager, and just say, hey, we don't support Kellogg. You guys should pull it off the shelves. I don't know. Something to say. They may or may not. But, if you run a little food co-op, shop there, whatever. If you're in a food desert, there's other products. Don't buy Kellogg. Support these workers. 1,400 people just lost their job because this asshole makes over $11 million a year, won't cut his salary. He won't cut his salary. So if you work for a big corporation, you got to cut your salary. We'll give you a little bit of an increase, but we won't give you everything you want. He's not cutting his salary. He's not like, hey, I support the workers, so I'm cutting my salary in half. He couldn't even cut it in half. If he cut it in half, oh God, that'd be less than $6 million a year, which again, it was really hard to live on, $6 million a year. Such nonsense. It's such nonsense. So boycott Kellogg, everybody. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth. What do? We go to Open Secrets. That's what we do. We just Google Kellogg CEO salary. AFL showed us his salary. We go to Open Secrets to find out who they donate to. They donate to both parties. That's the standard operating procedure for big corporations that screw over their employees. And hats off to the Starbucks that got unionization. This is why we got to unionize more and stand in solidarity with the Kellogg workers and don't buy Kellogg products. Hit them in the pocketbook. That's all they care about. Hit them in the pocketbook. Vote with your dollars. I'm telling you, vote with your dollars. You not buying Kellogg's products when you used to and getting everybody in your community and your family to do it. Your school, you work for a company that normally buys Kellogg products because you run a school or whatever, a restaurant or whatever it is. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Stick it to them. Let them know how it feels like. Follow the money, connects the dots, get the truth. Shave your knuckles for justice. Stab your back. I got cereal in my mouth, not Kellogg cereal. Boom. Hot Fresh segment. But Tony the Tiger said they're great. David Guevara, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting our show at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Very much appreciate it. Melissa H. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice, Melissa. Kellogg doesn't care about its workers. It's all about making the most profit. It's not just Kellogg, as most corporations are trying to usher in the era of transient worker who only work for a couple of years and they don't take it anymore. In the end, this means they don't care about their product or the consumer. I know, you're right. MHC, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. I also understand why a lot of people are weary of authoritarian automation handled correctly. I think automation could also be a good thing, but only if we paired it with policies like free university education and UBI payments. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. We would still need educated people to maintain all the automated systems and for anyone to fairly benefit from the economic gains the automation of many careers generated. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, MHC. Thank you, MHC. Ba 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 boom boom bam bam boom. Folks, what do we got? 375 likes. I love it. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. Folks, that is our show. We will be doing Government Secrets Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Lee's schedule's just been kind of thrown around a little bit. That's why we missed a week. It hasn't been consistent. But we'll be doing Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific time, 6 o'clock Eastern, Government Secrets. And of course, Monday night, the Late Night Crypto Lounge. We talk all things crypto. We had Rosie Tran on the show last week. It was super fun. So, we have right. Buy store brand, if you shop at like a Kroger, Safeway, one of those, buy the store brand products. Don't buy Kellogg's. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, we're going to end the show on some karaoke, but we can only do that at rockfin.com because I'll get a copyright strike. So if you're watching on the YouTube, jump on over to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. It is free to sign up. If you want to do the premium, that's $10 a month. You get all this premium content. So these live streams, as soon as they're done, they go to Rockfin Premium and to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. Check the below. You can see all the great ways to support our show. And of course there's Venmo. I'll check the Venmo real quick because sometimes people ask me questions on Venmo. It's at Graham-Elwood. All right, we're all good. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, boom. Go on over, shave your knuckles for justice, free Julian Assange. Everybody go on over to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. If you're watching on the YouTube, very much appreciate it. We had 384 likes. Let's get that up to 400. Let's do that right now. Before we go, hit the like button on YouTube. Do it. Boom, boom, boom. Hit it. Hit that like button. Hit it. Come on now. We got to get it up to 400. Come on now. 386, 387. Let's go. Hit the like button if you're watching on 388. Come on now. Boom. Copyright for rare karaoke. You got that right, Richard Swanek. It sucks. 389. Yeah. Bob Schwanek, you gotta go. I can't sing karaoke on YouTube because they copyright for the music or whatever. Free labor from its bondage. You got that right. Come on, 393, 7 more. Hit it and quit it. Somebody just put Bruce Myers. Absolutely. Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? It's going up. 395. Come on. Just liked it and felt good. Hit the like button. Get it up to 400 likes. Come on, stroke it up to 400. Just jerk it up to 400 likes. Just yank it up to 400. 398, 399. One more. We need one more person to hit the like button. You can do it. Hit the fun. Boom. We did it. Thank you, YouTube. You're the best. Thank you, YouTube. Jump on over to rockfin.com. We'll sing a karaoke song. Have a great weekend. We will see you Monday, 3 o'clock Pacific time for Government Secrets with Lee Camp. And then a Late Night Crypto Lounge Monday nights, 8 o'clock Pacific time, exclusively at rockfin.com. Graham's getting horny for 400. You're right. I am. We did it. Thank you, Sugar. We did it. All right, Rockfin. Excuse me. Rockfin, get ready. YouTube, jump on over to Rockfin. We'll see you over there, everybody. Go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood right now. You can do it. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom.